And we got to ask the question, is Nebraska's spring game done for good? That's the question. Like, the spring game might be on the chopping block with Cornhuskers, and it's not about injuries or scheduling or fan interest, because that's obviously at a super high level. This has to do with player poaching in the NIL era. So, is this going to be the future of college football? Like, if Nebraska cancels, somebody's going to be next, right? Nebraska's spring game is one of the biggest in the country. In 2024, the attendance was 60,452 fans. That was the fourth highest nationally, behind Ohio State, Alabama, and Penn State. It aired on the Big Ten Network, which is great national exposure, but that's also a risk, right? And the problem being that, that exposure works both ways. Head coach Matt Rule said that he's not worried about injuries. He's worried about other teams stealing his players. And the quote here was, the word tampering doesn't exist anymore. It's just an absolute free, open, common market. I don't necessarily want to open up to the outside world and have people watch our guys and say, he looks like a pretty good player, let's go get him. I get what he's saying. And after what happened last year, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. They had 6 players enter the transfer portal within a week of last year's spring game at Nebraska, and that's just the ones who actually officially entered, right? Many more could have been recruited behind the scenes, and it's not just a problem at Nebraska. This is happening across the country, right? The spring transfer window runs through April 25th. That means schools have a final chance to recruit players off other teams before the summer, which sucks, right? Because you don't know what your roster is going to look like in the fall if you're losing guys in the spring portal. The reason it's such a big deal is it's something that we just witnessed last month. And I mean, this thing's absolutely going to have billable hours winning, right? Wisconsin safety Xavier Lucas, he transferred to Miami without even entering the portal, which is a clear sign of pretty aggressive back channel recruiting, right? And this was after Lucas signed an NIL agreement with Wisconsin a week before he asked to be put in the portal. So there's going to be lawsuits. Wisconsin is suing Miami. The player was going to sue Wisconsin. I mean, it's just the whole thing. And the NCAA came out and said, yeah, the transfer portal doesn't really matter. Like, it's just this thing that's in the calendar, but you don't have to do that.